First contact, the arrival. In the vast expanse of the Andromeda Galaxy, the Zarthak Confederation had long considered itself the pinnacle of technological advancement. For millennia, they had mapped the stars, catalogued countless species, and established a sprawling network of allied worlds. Yet, nothing in their extensive archives could have prepared them for the day when the humans arrived. It began with an anomaly. At the edge of Zarthak space, monitoring stations detected an unusual disturbance in subspace. Initial scans suggested it might be a natural phenomenon, perhaps a quantum filament or a rare type of nebula. But as the hours passed, the disturbance grew more pronounced, defying all known laws of physics. Varlon, the chief scientist at Outpost Epsilon, studied the readings with growing concern. His antennae twitched nervously as he turned to his colleague Zinra. These energy signatures, they're like nothing we've ever seen. It's as if space itself is being warped. Zinra's multifaceted eyes blinked rapidly, a sign of deep thought among her species. Could it be a new form of faster-than-light travel? Perhaps another civilization has achieved what we thought impossible. Before Varlon could respond, alarms blared throughout the station. The subspace disturbance had suddenly intensified, and now, emerging from what appeared to be a tear in the very fabric of space-time, came ships. Massive vessels, each the size of a small moon, glided into normal space with an impossible grace that belied their enormous bulk. The Zarthak Confederation's response was swift. Defensive fleets were mobilized, diplomats were roused from their meditation chambers, and emergency broadcasts were sent to every corner of the galaxy. The message was clear. First contact was imminent, and it promised to be unlike anything they had experienced before. As the alien ships drew closer, the Zarthak were able to get their first clear look at the newcomers. The vessels were sleek and organic in design, seemingly grown rather than built. They pulsed with an inner light that shifted in hues, from deep blues to vibrant purples. Most strikingly, they bore no visible weapons, yet their very presence radiated power. Admiral Krelox, commander of the Zarthak Defense Fleet, watched the approaching ships with a mixture of awe and trepidation. "Open a channel," he ordered, his voice steady despite the tension that gripped his entire being. "Let's see if they're here to talk." For several agonizing moments, there was no response. Then suddenly, every communication device in the Zarthak fleet came to life simultaneously. A face appeared on their screens, a face that would soon become known across the galaxy. It was unmistakably alien to the Zarthak, with smooth skin, two forward-facing eyes, and a curious growth of fur atop its head. When it spoke, its words were somehow perfectly understood, as if bypassing language altogether and speaking directly to their minds. "Greetings, sentient beings of the Andromeda Galaxy. We are the humans of Earth, travelers from the Milky Way. We come in peace and in search of new horizons." The declaration sent shockwaves through the Zarthak fleet. Another galaxy. The very concept was mind-boggling. For as long as they had existed, the Zarthak had believed that intergalactic travel was nothing more than a theoretical possibility. Admiral Krelox, recovering from his initial shock, responded with as much dignity as he could muster. "On behalf of the Zarthak Confederation and all sentient beings in our galaxy, I bid you welcome. Your arrival is unexpected, but we are open to peaceful dialogue." The humans smiled, an expression that the Zarthak would soon learn indicated friendliness. "We appreciate your welcome, Admiral. We understand our arrival may be disconcerting. We've traveled far and seen much, but it is not our intention to disrupt or dominate. We seek only to explore, to learn, and perhaps to share what knowledge we have gained." As the initial shock wore off, curiosity began to take hold among the Zarthak. Questions flooded in from every ship in the fleet. How had the humans achieved intergalactic travel? What was their home galaxy like? What other wonders had they seen on their journey? The humans answered each question patiently, but it soon became clear that their technological and scientific understanding far surpassed that of the Zarthak. They spoke of manipulating gravity as easily as the Zarthak might manipulate light, of harnessing the energy of entire stars, and of bending the very laws of physics to their will. Yet, for all their advanced capabilities, the humans displayed a humility that surprised the Zarthak. They spoke not of conquest or superiority, but of cooperation and mutual growth. They offered to share some of their technologies, particularly in the fields of medicine and sustainable energy, gifts that could revolutionize life throughout the Andromeda galaxy. However, not all among the Zarthak were comfortable with the sudden appearance of these godlike beings. Varlon, watching the proceedings from Outpost Epsilon, couldn't shake a feeling of unease. They seem benevolent, he mused to Zinra. But can any species truly be so advanced and yet so altruistic? Zinra considered this. Perhaps their journey has taught them the value of cooperation over conflict, or perhaps, she hesitated, perhaps we are witnessing only what they wish us to see. As the days passed, news of the humans' arrival spread rapidly across the galaxy. Some civilizations reacted with excitement, eager to benefit from the humans' advanced knowledge. Others responded with fear and suspicion, seeing the newcomers as a potential threat to the established order. The Zarthak found themselves at the center of a galactic whirlwind. As the first to make contact, they were thrust into the role of mediators between the humans and the rest of the Andromeda galaxy. It was a position of great responsibility, and one that would test their diplomatic skills to the limit. For their part, the humans seemed genuinely eager to engage with the diverse species of Andromeda. They proposed a grand conference, where representatives from across the galaxy could meet, exchange ideas, and discuss the implications of this unprecedented contact between galaxies. As preparations for this historic gathering began, Admiral Krelox couldn't help but feel that the galaxy stood on the brink of a new era. Whether it would be an age of wonders or one of unforeseen challenges remained to be seen. One thing was certain: the arrival of humans had changed everything, and nothing in the Andromeda galaxy would ever be the same again. The galactic stage, humanity's integration. As the grand conference approached, the Andromeda galaxy buzzed with anticipation. Representatives from thousands of civilizations journeyed to the neutral space station Harmony, a marvel of engineering that orbited a binary star system at the heart of the galaxy. The station's vast docking bays, filled with ships of all shapes and sizes, from the crystalline vessels of the silicon-based Quartz Collective to the bio-organic pods of the hive-minded Zenlav. At the center of it all were the humans, their moon-sized ships dwarfing even the largest alien vessels. As delegates from across the galaxy disembarked onto Harmony, they couldn't help but gawk at the seemingly impossible human technology. Gravity plates that could be adjusted on a whim, holographic displays that responded to thought, and materials that seemed to defy the laws of physics. All were on display, a testament to humanity's advanced capabilities. Dr. Elena Vasquez, the lead human diplomat, stood at the entrance to the main conference hall, greeting delegates with a warm smile and a respectful nod. Her translator implant effortlessly converted her words into thousands of alien languages simultaneously, a feat that left many visitors in awe. "Welcome to Harmony," she said to each arrival. "We look forward to learning from you and sharing our knowledge in return." As the conference began, it quickly became apparent that humanity's arrival had upset the delicate balance of power in the Andromeda galaxy. The Zarthak Confederation, once considered the most advanced civilization, now found itself struggling to maintain its influence. Admiral Krelox, representing the Zarthak, addressed the assembly with carefully measured words. "While we welcome the humans and the knowledge they bring, we must also consider the implications of their presence. How do we ensure that the sharing of technology does not lead to instability or conflict?" His concerns were echoed by others. The Morgothi Empire, a warrior race known for their conquest of dozens of star systems, viewed the humans with open suspicion. Their emperor, a towering figure with iridescent scales, growled, "These humans claim to come in peace, yet they possess weapons that could obliterate entire planets. How can we trust that they won't use this power against us?" Dr. Vasquez listened to each concern with patience and empathy. When it was her turn to speak, she stepped onto the central platform, her holographic image projected throughout the station and across the galaxy. "We understand your fears," she began, her voice calm and assured. "Humanity has faced similar challenges in our own history. We've seen how rapid technological advancement can lead to conflict and suffering. That's why we're committed to a careful, measured approach to sharing our knowledge." She went on to outline a proposal for a galactic exchange program. Scientists, engineers, and scholars from across Andromeda would be invited to study alongside humans, learning not just the mechanics of advanced technology, but also the ethical frameworks necessary to use it responsibly. "We don't seek to dominate or to upset the balance of power," Dr. Vasquez continued. "We believe that by working together, we can create a future that benefits all sentient beings." Her words seemed to resonate with many of the delegates, but others remained skeptical. The conference stretched on for days, filled with heated debates, tense negotiations, and moments of surprising cooperation. One unexpected development came when the Quantarians, a race of energy beings normally uninterested in physical matters, expressed deep fascination with human consciousness. "Your minds, their representative pulsed in patterns of light. They're unlike anything we've encountered. So chaotic, yet so creative. We would very much like to study this further." This request led to a groundbreaking agreement for cultural and scientific exchange between humans and Quantarians, opening up new avenues of research into the nature of consciousness itself. As the conference progressed, humanity's unique traits began to shine through in ways that surprised and sometimes confounded their alien counterparts. Their adaptability, their drive to explore, and their ability to think outside established norms repeatedly came to the forefront. During a discussion on interstellar travel, a human engineer named Raj Patel proposed a radical new method of using quantum entanglement to create instantaneous transportation across vast distances. The idea was so revolutionary that it left even the most advanced alien scientists stunned. But that violates at least 3 fundamental laws of physics, sputtered Sinra, the Zarthak scientist. Raj simply shrugged, a gesture that confused many of the aliens present. "Sometimes you have to break the rules to make progress," he said with a grin. This human willingness to challenge established norms both excited and unnerved many in the galactic community. Some saw it as the key to unprecedented advancement, while others worried it could lead to dangerous instability. As the conference neared its end, tensions reached a boiling point. The Morgothi Empire, still unconvinced of humanity's peaceful intentions, demanded that the humans share their most advanced weapons technology as a show of good faith. Dr. Vasquez stood firm. "We didn't cross the void between galaxies to spark an arms race," she declared. "Our most powerful technology is not our weapons, but our ability to cooperate, to innovate, and to see possibilities where others see only obstacles." Her words triggered a heated debate that lasted for hours. In the end, a compromise was reached. The humans would share defensive technologies that could protect planets from natural disasters and cosmic threats, but offensive weapons would remain off-limits. As the delegates prepared to return to their homeworlds, the galaxy was abuzz with excitement and apprehension. The arrival of humans had opened up new possibilities, but it had also introduced an element of unpredictability into a galaxy that had long grown accustomed to the status quo. Admiral Krelox, bidding farewell to Dr. Vasquez, summed up the feelings of many. "You humans have certainly shaken things up. I can't say whether that's for better or worse yet, but I suspect the Andromeda Galaxy will never be the same." Dr. Vasquez nodded, her expression both hopeful and determined. "Change can be frightening, Admiral, but it also brings opportunity. We humans have a saying, a ship in harbor is safe, but that is not what ships are built for. We're here to explore, to learn, and to grow, together with all the incredible species we've met here." As the conference ended and ships began departing from Harmony Station, the Andromeda Galaxy stood at the threshold of a new era. Humanity had arrived, bringing with them unimaginable advancements and equally unimaginable challenges. Only time would tell how this grand experiment in intergalactic cooperation would unfold. Little did they know that an ancient threat, long dormant, was stirring in the depths of space, a threat that would soon test the newfound alliance between humans and the species of Andromeda in ways none could have anticipated. The lurking threat, ancient enemy, emerges. As the dust settled from the Galactic Conference, a new rhythm began to emerge across the Andromeda galaxy. Human diplomatic missions spread out to various star systems, setting up cultural exchange programs and collaborative research projects. Their advanced technology, carefully introduced, began to solve problems that had plagued alien civilizations for centuries. On the desert world of Keldar, human atmospheric processes transformed vast swaths of barren land into arable fields, ending millennia of food scarcity for the native Caldarians. In the gaseous depths of the Nebula Collective, human-designed nanoprobes allowed the nebula-dwelling Etheri to communicate with solid matter species for the first time. Yet beneath this veneer of progress and cooperation, an ancient evil stirred. Dr. Elena Vasquez stood aboard the human exploration vessel Horizon, her eyes fixed on a holographic display of a distant star system. Something about the data didn't add up. "Captain Zhang," she called out, "can we get a closer look at that fourth planet?" Captain Lian Zhang, a veteran of countless deep space missions, nodded to her science officer. The hologram zoomed in, revealing a world that seemed, at first glance, unremarkable. "It's a gas giant," Zhang observed. "Readings suggest it's composed primarily of hydrogen and helium, nothing out of the ordinary." But Elena shook her head, her brow furrowed in concentration. "Look at the gravitational readings. They're fluctuating in a non-random pattern, and those energy signatures, they're unlike anything I've ever seen." As they watched, the planet's surface began to ripple, as if something massive was moving beneath the swirling gases. Suddenly, a colossal tendril burst forth from the planet's atmosphere, reaching thousands of kilometers into space. Alarms blared throughout the ship as more tendrils emerged, each one pulsing with an otherworldly energy. The gas giant's form began to dissolve, revealing a monstrous entity beneath, a being of such immense size that it dwarfed the planet it had been masquerading as. "By all that's holy," Captain Zhang whispered, her usual composure shaken. "What is that thing?" Before anyone could respond, a psychic scream tore through their minds, filled with an alien hunger that sent chills down their spines. The creature, for lack of a better term, began to move, its massive form accelerating at an impossible speed for something of its size. "It's heading for the nearest inhabited system," Elena shouted, her fingers flying over the holographic controls. "We need to warn them." As the Horizon raced to alert the galaxy to this new threat, similar scenes were unfolding across Andromeda. What had appeared to be dormant gas giants or dead worlds were awakening, revealing themselves to be camouflaged members of an ancient, planet-consuming species. On Harmony Station, now serving as the central hub for galactic cooperation, chaos erupted as reports flooded in from all corners of the galaxy. Admiral Krelox of the Zarthak Confederation stared at the incoming data with growing horror. "It can't be," he muttered, his antennae quivering in distress. The Devourers, they were supposed to be a myth. Beside him, Zinra, the Zarthak scientist, pulled up ancient historical records. According to our oldest legends, the Devourers nearly wiped out all life in the galaxy eons ago. Our ancestors banded together and somehow put them into a state of dormancy, but at a terrible cost. The knowledge of how they did it was lost in the aftermath. As the gravity of the situation became clear, the various species of Andromeda turned to the humans for guidance. Despite being newcomers to the galaxy, humanity's advanced technology and fresh perspective were seen as potential keys to solving this crisis. Dr. Vasquez, having returned to Harmony Station, addressed an emergency session of the Galactic Council. "We've analyzed the data from our encounter, and we believe we understand what we're dealing with," she began, her voice steady despite the weight of her words. She brought up a holographic model of one of the devourers. These beings appear to be a form of macro-scale quantum entity. They exist simultaneously as matter and energy, allowing them to consume entire planets and convert them into more of their own biomass. A murmur of fear rippled through the assembled delegates. But, Elena continued, a note of hope in her voice, their quantum nature also presents a potential weakness. We believe that a precisely calibrated quantum resonance field could disrupt their molecular cohesion, essentially causing them to discorporate. Admiral Krelox leaned forward, his eyes narrow. You're talking about a weapon capable of destroying these monsters. Can it be done? Elena nodded slowly. In theory, yes, but there's a catch. To generate a field powerful enough to affect a devourer, we'd need to harness the energy of a supernova. And to deliver that energy accurately, we'd need to be dangerously close to the target. The implications hung heavy in the air. Such a mission would be tantamount to suicide for whoever undertook it. As the council debated the merits and risks of the plan, reports continued to pour in from across the galaxy. The devourers were awakening faster than anyone had anticipated, and already, several outlying star systems had gone dark, their populations presumably consumed. The Morgothi Empire, once skeptical of human intentions, now threw their full support behind the plan. Our warrior fleets stand ready to buy you the time you need to develop this weapon, that Emperor declared. We will hold the line against these abominations. Other species quickly followed suit, pledging resources and support to the human-led effort. Even the enigmatic Quantarians offered their unique insights into quantum mechanics, which proved invaluable in refining the weapon design. As the galaxy mobilized for war, Dr. Vasquez couldn't help but feel a sense of grim irony. Humanity had come to Andromeda seeking peaceful exploration and cultural exchange. Instead, they found themselves at the center of a battle for the very survival of an entire galaxy. Captain Zhang, who had been listening silently, finally spoke up. We didn't cross the void between galaxies to run from a fight, she said, her voice filled with determination. If we have to go Nova to save this galaxy, then by God, that's what we'll do. A chorus of agreement echoed through the chamber. The lines had been drawn, the stakes made clear. The galaxy that had so recently been divided over humanity's arrival now stood united against an existential threat. As the council session adjourned and preparations for the greatest conflict in galactic history began, Elena found herself staring out at the star-filled expanse of space. Somewhere out there, the devourers were approaching, their insatiable hunger threatening to extinguish countless civilizations. The fate of the Andromeda Galaxy now rested on the shoulders of its newest inhabitants. Humanity had arrived just in time to face its greatest challenge yet, and the outcome would determine the future of not one, but two galaxies. United we stand, forging an alliance. The Andromeda Galaxy, once a tapestry of diverse and often conflicting civilizations, now faced a threat that demanded unprecedented unity. With the Devourers awakening and consuming entire star systems, the newly formed Galactic Defense Coalition, GDC, raced against time to implement humanity's daring plan. At the heart of this effort was the Nexus Project, a massive undertaking to create a weapon capable of destroying the Devourers. Led by Dr. Elena Vasquez and a team of the galaxy's brightest minds, the project took shape on a remote moon, chosen for its unique position at the convergence of several energy-rich nebulae. As construction of the quantum resonance cannon began, Captain Lian Zhang took charge of organizing the galaxy's military forces. The diversity of species and technologies presented both a challenge and an opportunity. We need to play to everyone's strengths, Zhang explained during a strategy session. The Morgothi's battle fleets will form our front lines. The Zarthak's stealth ships will handle reconnaissance. The Etheri can use their nebula-facing abilities for hit-and-run tactics. Admiral Krelox, now serving as Zhang's second-in-command, nodded in agreement. And the humans, where do you fit into this strategy? Zhang's eyes glinted with determination. "We'll be the tip of the spear. Our ships are the only ones fast and durable enough to get close to the Devourers and deploy the quantum weapon once it's ready." As the coalition forces began to mobilize, the first major battle against the Devourers loomed. A cluster of Devourer entities was approaching the densely populated Veil Nebula, home to trillions of beings across hundreds of species. The defense of the Veil Nebula would be the first true test of the galaxy's newfound unity. Ships from 1,000 worlds converged, forming a barrier between the approaching Devourers and the vulnerable nebula. As the monstrous forms of the Devourers came into view, a hush fell over the combined fleet. These were beings of incomprehensible size and power, their very presence warping the fabric of space-time around them. Captain Zhang's voice crackled over the comms, steady and resolute. "All ships, hold the line. Remember what we're fighting for. Today, we are all one people, the people of Andromeda." The battle that followed was unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen. Morgothi dreadnoughts unleashed salvos of antimatter torpedoes, their explosions momentarily blinding sensors across the battlefield. Zarthak's stealth ships darted between the Devourer's massive tendrils, planting gravity mines that disrupted the monster's movements. Human ships, piloted with a mixture of AI assistance and human intuition, performed maneuvers that defied the laws of physics, weaving impossible patterns through the chaos of battle. Yet, for all their efforts, the Allied forces seemed to make little impact on the Devourers. Energy weapons were absorbed, physical projectiles passed through their quantum-shifting bodies, and any ship that got too close was instantly crushed by gravitational forces. As the battle raged on, casualties mounted. Entire squadrons vanished in the blink of an eye, consumed by the insatiable hunger of the Devourers. The Veil Nebula itself began to destabilize, its swirling gases churning violently as the space around it warped and twisted. In the midst of the chaos, a Quantarian energy being named Zixuri made a crucial discovery. The Devourers, it pulsed urgently. They're communicating with each other through quantum entanglement. If we can disrupt that communication, we might be able to confuse them. This insight proved to be the turning point of the battle. Human scientists, working in tandem with Quantarian energy manipulators, quickly devised a way to generate quantum noise that interfered with the Devourer's coordination. The effect was immediate and dramatic. The once synchronized movements of the Devourers became erratic and uncoordinated. In their confusion, they began to collide with each other, their massive forms tangling in a cosmic knot. Seizing the opportunity, Captain Zhang ordered a full assault on the disoriented Devourers. "All ships, concentrate fire on the points where they're tangled. Let's see if we can tear them apart." The combined firepower of the Allied fleet, focused on these vulnerable points, finally began to show results. Cracks appeared in the Devourers' otherworldly flesh, spreading like fissures across their titanic bodies. With a psychic scream that echoed across the galaxy, the lead Devourer began to break apart. As it did, it released a burst of energy so powerful that it momentarily outshone the stars themselves. The remaining Devourers, perhaps sensing the tide of battle had turned, began to retreat. They moved with a speed that belied their size, quickly disappearing into the depths of intergalactic space. As the dust settled and the Allied fleet took stock of their losses, a mixture of exhaustion and elation swept through the ranks. They had faced the nightmares of legend and emerged victorious, bloodied but unbowed. Admiral Krelox's voice, thick with emotion, broke the silence. "In all my years, I never thought I'd see the day when the galaxy would truly stand as one. Humans, Zarthak, Morgothi, Quantarians, and 100 other species, we fought as brothers and sisters today." Captain Zhang nodded solemnly. This was just the beginning. The Devourers will be back, and in greater numbers. But today, we proved that united, we can stand against them. As news of the victory spread across the galaxy, a newfound sense of hope and unity blossomed. Species that had been bitter enemies for millennia now found common cause. The humans, once viewed with suspicion, were hailed as saviors and visionaries. Back on the Nexus Project Moon, Dr. Vasquez received the battle reports with a mixture of relief and grim determination. "We fought ourselves some time," she told her team, "but the real test is still to come. We need to finish the quantum resonance cannon before the Devourers regroup and return in force." As she spoke, her gaze drifted to a holographic display of the Andromeda Galaxy. Scattered across its spiral arms were pulsing red dots, each one a devourer, awakening from its ancient slumber. The battle for the Veil Nebula had been won, but the war for the fate of Andromeda was far from over. The galaxy had found its unity in the face of an overwhelming threat. Now, that unity would be tested as never before. The battle for survival, humanity's finest hour. As the Devourers regrouped in the vast emptiness between galactic arms, the Galactic Defense Coalition worked tirelessly to prepare for their inevitable return. The Nexus Project, under Dr. Elena Vasquez's leadership, had made significant progress on the quantum resonance cannon, but time was running short. On Harmony Station, now converted into the central command for the GDC, Captain Lian Zhang pored over intelligence reports with Admiral Krelox and other military leaders. Holographic displays showed the movements of devourer entities across the galaxy, their numbers growing at an alarming rate. "They're not just awakening," Zhang observed, her face grim. "They're reproducing. Each world they consume adds to their numbers." Admiral Krelox's antennae twitched nervously. "At this rate, they'll overwhelm us within a standard galactic month. Dr. Vasquez, what's the status of the weapon?" Elena's hologram flickered into view, her expression a mixture of excitement and concern. "We've had a breakthrough. The quantum resonance cannon is operational, but there's a catch. Its effective range is much shorter than we anticipated. To destroy a devourer, we'd need to fire it from within the creature's own gravity well." A heavy silence fell over the command center as the implications sank in. Firing the weapon would mean certain death for whoever wielded it. Captain Zhang straightened, her eyes blazing with determination. "Then that's what we'll do. We'll modify the horizon for a one-way trip. I'll lead the mission myself." Protests erupted from around the room, but Zhang silenced them with a raised hand. "We all knew the risks when we started this fight. If sacrificing one ship and crew can save trillions of lives, then it's a price we must be willing to pay." As preparations for the final battle began, word of the plan spread throughout the galaxy. Volunteers from every species came forward, offering to join the suicide mission. The Horizon, once a ship of exploration, was transformed into a vessel of last resort, its hull reinforced with exotic materials to withstand the gravitational forces of a devourer. The quantum resonance cannon, a marvel of cross-species engineering, was installed in the Horizon's core. Powered by an artificial singularity, it hummed with barely contained energy, ready to unleash a force that could reshape reality itself. As the fateful day approached, Dr. Vasquez made a startling discovery. "Captain," she called, her voice urgent, "I've been analyzing the Devourers' communication patterns. There's a hierarchy to their collective consciousness. If we can target the largest one, what I believe to be their leader, we might be able to disrupt the entire species at once." This information changed everything. Instead of multiple suicide runs, they now had a single target that could end the war in one stroke. But reaching the Devourer Alpha would mean fighting through the heart of their swarm. The plan was set. While the combined fleets of the GDC engaged the bulk of the Devourer forces, drawing their attention, the Horizon would make a desperate run for the Alpha. Every ship in the galaxy capable of faster-than-light travel was enlisted, creating a massive distraction that would hopefully give Zhang and her crew a fighting chance. As the Devourers approached the populated core of the Andromeda Galaxy, the largest space battle in cosmic history erupted. Millions of ships clashed against the eldritch horrors of the Devourers. Energy beams crisscrossed the void, antimatter explosions bloomed like deadly flowers, and entire star systems became battlegrounds. Aboard the Horizon, Captain Zhang and her hand-picked crew, a mix of humans and aliens, each chosen for their unique skills, prepare for their final mission. As they approached the swarm, the true scale of the devourers became apparent. The Alpha dwarfed its brethren, its vast form blotting out entire star clusters. "All hands, brace for transwarp," Jung commanded. The Horizon's experimental drive engaged, catapulting the ship through layers of subspace. They emerged deep within the devourer swarm, alarms blaring as the ship's systems struggled against the intense gravitational forces. With inside the Alpha's gravity well, the Zarfak navigator announced, his voice strained. "Quantum resonance cannon is charged and ready." Jung took a deep breath, her hand hovering over the firing control. "For Andromeda," she whispered, and pressed the button. The quantum resonance cannon fired, unleashing a beam of pure possibility. It struck the Devourer Alpha at its core, setting off a chain reaction that defied comprehension. The massive being's form began to unravel, its quantum structure collapsing in on itself. As the Alpha Devourer disintegrated, a psychic shockwave rippled through space. One by one, the other Devourers began to fall apart, their connection to their leader severed. The Horizon, caught in the maelstrom of the Alpha's death throes, was torn apart. But in its final moments, the ship's communication array broadcast a single message across the galaxy: victory. As the dust settled and the remnants of the Devourer swarm dissipated into harmless energy, a stunned silence fell across the Allied fleet. Then gradually, cheers and cries of jubilation erupted. Ships of every size and shape danced in complex patterns, their crews celebrating a victory that had seemed impossible mere hours before. On Harmony Station, Dr. Vasquez watched the aftermath with tears in her eyes. "They did it," she breathed. "They actually did it." Admiral Krelox placed a comforting hand on her shoulder. "Captain Jung and her crew will be remembered as the greatest heroes the galaxy has ever known. Their sacrifice has saved us all." As news of the victory spread, the peoples of Andromeda began to look to the future. The threat that had united them was gone, but the bonds forged in the crucible of war remained. Humanity, once newcomers to the galaxy, had proved themselves to be not just allies, but saviors. The battle for survival had been won, but its impact would reshape the Andromeda galaxy for eons to come. A new age was dawning, one of unprecedented cooperation and shared purpose. And at its heart was the legacy of those who had given everything to ensure that life, in all its wondrous diversity, would continue to thrive among the stars. A new dawn, reshaping the galaxy. In the aftermath of the Devourer's defeat, the Andromeda galaxy found itself in a state of profound transformation. The threat that had united countless civilizations was gone, but the alliances forged in the crucible of war remained. As the dust settled, the monumental task of rebuilding began. Harmony Station, once the nerve center of galactic defense, now became a symbol of a new era of cooperation. Representatives from every corner of the galaxy gathered to shape the future of their shared home. The Galactic Defense Coalition, born out of necessity, evolved into the Andromeda Cooperative, a body dedicated to fostering unity, progress, and mutual understanding among all sentient species. Dr. Elena Vasquez, hailed as one of the architects of victory, found herself at the forefront of these efforts. Standing before a grand assembly of alien delegates, she addressed the challenges and opportunities that lay ahead. "We have weathered a storm that threatened to extinguish all life in our galaxy," she began, her voice carrying across the vast chamber. "In doing so, we've discovered strengths we never knew we had, forged bonds that span light years, and proven that our differences are far outweighed by what we share in common." She gestured to a holographic display of the galaxy, now free of the red dots that had once indicated devourer threats. "The technology we developed to fight the devourers has applications far beyond warfare. The quantum resonance technology, for instance, can be adapted to heal damaged planets, to revolutionize communication across vast distances, even to explore the fundamental nature of reality itself." The assembly buzzed with excitement at these possibilities. Species that had once been bitter rivals now found themselves collaborating on projects that would have been unthinkable before the war. The Morgothi Empire, once feared for their aggressive expansion, turned their battle fleets into a galactic rapid response force, providing aid and protection to vulnerable worlds. The Zarthak Confederation's stealth technology, combined with human quantum engineering, gave birth to a new form of faster-than-light travel that made the galaxy seem smaller than ever before. Even the enigmatic Quantarians found a new purpose, using their mastery of energy manipulation to help stabilize systems destabilized by the Devourer's attacks. Their partnership with human scientists led to breakthroughs in understanding consciousness itself, blurring the lines between organic and artificial intelligence. But amidst the optimism and progress, there were also challenges to overcome. Many worlds had been devastated by the Devourers, their populations decimated or displaced. The task of resettling refugees and rebuilding shattered civilizations would take decades, if not centuries. Moreover, the sudden leap in technological advancement brought its own set of ethical dilemmas. How would they ensure that these powerful new technologies were used responsibly? How could they preserve the unique cultures and traditions of individual species while fostering greater unity? To address these concerns, the Andromeda Cooperative established the Galactic Ethics Council, a diverse body of philosophers, scientists, and leaders from across the galaxy. Their task was to guide the development and implementation of new technologies, ensuring that progress served the greater good of all sentient beings. As years passed, the scars left by the Devourer War began to heal. Dead worlds were reborn, their ecosystems carefully reconstructed using advanced terraforming techniques. The quantum communication network, born from the ashes of the quantum resonance weapon, allowed for instantaneous exchange of ideas across the entire galaxy, ushering in an unprecedented age of scientific and cultural advancement. Humanity, once newcomers to Andromeda, had become an integral part of the galactic community. Their adaptability, creativity, and unwavering determination in the face of seemingly insurmountable odds had earned them the respect and admiration of countless species. Yet, true to their nature, humans did not rest on their laurels. The spirit of exploration that had brought them across the intergalactic void still burned bright. As Andromeda flourished, humanity began to look outward once more. Captain Lian Zhang, miraculously rescued from the wreckage of the horizon by a Quantarian energy being, stood on the bridge of a new ship, the Phoenix. Built using technology that seamlessly blended the best of human ingenuity with alien advancements, the Phoenix was more than just a vessel, it was a symbol of how far they had come. "Where to, Captain?" her first officer, a young Zarthak named Vexler, asked eagerly. Zhang's eyes sparkled with the same sense of wonder that had driven her across galaxies. "There are still so many mysteries out there, Vexler. The Devourers came from somewhere. There might be other threats or wonders waiting to be discovered. And beyond that," she gestured to the starfield visible through the view screen, where the faint smudge of another galaxy was just barely visible. "There are whole new galaxies to explore." As the Phoenix prepared for its maiden voyage, Dr. Vasquez watched from Harmony Station, a bittersweet smile on her face. The humans had come to Andromeda seeking new horizons, and in the process, they had found not just a new home, but a family that spanned an entire galaxy. "Godspeed, Lian," she whispered as the Phoenix engaged its quantum drive, disappearing in a flash of light that rippled across the cosmos. The Andromeda Galaxy, once nearly consumed by an ancient evil, now stood as a beacon of hope and unity in the universe. The arrival of humans had indeed led to the unthinkable, not in the destruction they had feared, but in the creation of something greater than any single species could have achieved alone. As the Phoenix ventured into the unknown, carrying with it the hopes and dreams of countless beings, one thing was certain: whatever challenges lay ahead, they would face them together as one united galaxy. The future, vast and unknowable as the cosmos itself, beckoned with infinite possibilities.